Hello. So good news. The problem I was having with my apartment got resolved. So I'm feeling really good about that. So that was part of my high. As well as the fact that yesterday there was a new episode of Hot Ones. I'll be talking about that momentarily. And the Packers lost. That makes me feel pretty good too. Haven't been my Cowboys can actually win, but whatever. Honestly, if I have a low, I guess it's the fact it's really cold out right now. Like, it's getting to that time of year where if you're not careful or if you're not ready for it, the cold is going to hit you really hard. And it did hit me a couple of times yesterday. And I'm actually wearing layers right now, so if I'm telling you that it's hitting me hard, it's hit me pretty hard. My act of kindness, I would say, goes in the form of a favor I had to do for my grandmother. And actually, another thing I did was, see, when my mom gets back, we're going to be celebrating her birthday this upcoming weekend. And she wanted me to pick up a few things, which I did. I actually remember, to be honest, not that I meant to memorize everything on the list, but I could tell you pretty much everything I got. She wanted me to get, actually, no, let me do the Happy Friday. I keep forgetting to do the happy whatever day of the week is. This time I did early. So on the list, I got, she wanted spinach, butternut squash, some peppers, lettuce, onions, carrots, celery, stuffing, like turkey stuffing. That's it for the vegetables. And there's a few other ingredients, but I don't want to give away what they are because it involves a mom food that I'm a little bit hesitant on talking about. Simply because I'm waiting for the right time to talk about it, but when I'm ready to do that, I will. So, with that said, I got everything my mom wanted, and the good thing about it being cold outside is you can pretty much leave the vast majority of stuff you buy from the store in your car at night. It's great. I mean, there was nothing I got was perishable. I mean, produce and like a couple of cans of stuff and stuffing and yeah, that's nothing. None of that's gonna go bad in one night, especially when it's definitely below 40 degrees. For those of you who don't know, there's something called the danger zone, and it's between 40 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Like, certain foods obviously can't be in that span of temperature in the open for very long. That's why we needed refrigeration. Or before we had refrigeration, we just heavily salted everything. Because, bacteria forms between 40 and 140. That's why. That's why it's called the danger zone. Although, yes, technically I myself am in the danger zone right now. But human beings don't expire in between 40 and 140 degree weather. I mean, at the lowest, we just feel kind of cold. I mean, yeah, 40 degrees is cold, but come on, I felt colder, don't worry. And I've never been in 140 degree weather before. I don't want to be in 140 degree weather before. But for the most part, I'd be able to survive provided there was like a boatload of water nearby. Do that. Actually, if human beings do have a danger zone, it probably would be like anything above 140, now that I think about it. Of course, the danger would be for entirely different reasons. That said, it was a great day yesterday. Saw a really good episode of Hot Ones yesterday, in which the guest was Rami Youssef. And, because here's the thing, it's pretty obvious when I've been doing my thoughts on these Highlands videos. I try and pay attention to what, I learn, or write something important down, because it's definitely worth learning. And I really did learn a lot. That's it, because here's the thing. I actually have to watch for me to really be able to do these videos, I need to watch the episode twice. The first time I watch it just for the sake of, enjoying myself and for the sake of entertainment. The second time I watch it is to write down anything that, really stood out to me, which are the very things I'm here to talk about now. Because at the end of the day, this was a very good episode, and I really did learn a lot. And speaking of the things I learned, one thing, I actually learned a bunch of things. One thing was when Rami Youssef pitched both Mo and Rami, like one of the questions that Sean asked him was, the differences between portraying Muslim culture in Jersey versus Houston, which, yeah, you never really think about how sometimes you don't really think about how the environment of where we are affects us, especially in terms of religious beliefs. But when you think about it, yes, both Houston and I don't think they use the state of, let's say Jersey City, because I think it's pretty much the city. It looked like it was in the city. And Houston, yeah, they're in the same country, but they're in completely different sections of the country. If you didn't know better, you would think they were completely different countries on the planet when you think about it. I mean, obviously they're all in the same city, but they're two different areas with lots of different people and lots of different ways of thinking. And that was really interesting to me. He talked about how when pitching a show that's autobiographical, there needs to be a likable factor to him, but also okay, it's a likable factor, it's based on myself, but with some exaggerations in there, but not too exaggerated where you'd never believe it. I like that idea. He talked about his plan with dealing with hecklers. I'm doing stand-up. He mentioned how, believe it or not, working in the Apple store is similar to pitching a show. Think about it. And he's right. Because when you think about it, if you're in the Apple store, you're thinking, okay, what can I do to sell this MacBook Pro to this discerning customer right here? In a similar way, what can I say to these Hollywood executives to make, okay, this show is going to work? What can I say about that, right? He talked about how one episode of Mailer, on Rami, they couldn't get a tiger because it'd be too expensive, which, okay. Another thing that stood out to me was, and this is what Sean Evans mentioned this too, because he says, I don't think either one of our dads would have realized what we do unless he saw us on the Late Late Show. And Rami mentioned how, his parents got to see what he does better thanks to Stephen Colbert. Because they know Stephen Colbert. They can trust Stephen Colbert. I trust Stephen Colbert. That would actually, let's say I get famous doing these videos. Being on Stephen Colbert's show, that's one thing I definitely want to do. I want to meet Stephen Colbert. Okay, fine, I'll do it. Steven. Okay, I had to do that. Love Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert is the man. He mentioned how when pitching a show, there was sort of a secret to the Hollywood sell, which really there is no secret per se. It really is the ability to sell a show to Hollywood executives has a lot of factors to it. One most notably being the fact that you gotta know, like, it's one thing that you could never know. It's like, what kind of people are the people that you're selling to? What is their personality? Like, what are the things they like and what will appeal to them? Because at the end of the day, you know, nowadays when you're trying to pitch anything, you have to reach that happy medium, like, okay, this really is meant for this specific audience, but you want other people to be able to watch it too, thus giving you a better, more profitable product. Because the more people you can get to watch, the better the outcome is. Which, yeah, that's no secret, but, you know, it's still nice to be reminded of it and learn from it. And I like that. Did you guys know that there's actually a thing as most stylish funny man? I did not before this episode. And I love that Rami mentioned how, okay, most stylish funny man, what kind of competition is there? Which I gotta agree. I'm not really one to talk. The only thing I know about style is the one thing I know about style is you don't wear clothes because they look nice. You wear clothes because they keep you from being nude in public. And that is very nice. Like, there's a reason why I'm always fully dressed on these shows. I'm doing these videos. Trust me, no one wants to see the alternative. No one wants to see the alternative. Okay? Good. He talked about Jersey staples and prolific people like Wawa, which I guess could only be described as like a Tops or a Wegmans, I suppose. See, Joe Budden and Bon Jovi basically, it's very clear he was, repping Jersey well and had nothing but good things to say about it, so he did. One thing that really stuck out to me, though, outside of the whole diner thing involving the Last Wing, was, when you think about it, whenever a show does something Christian-based or religion-based as a whole, the tropes are usually like when a person sadly passes on, they go up to heaven and you see the pearly gates, Cloud City, God is up there, angels and stuff like that. And listen, it's no secret that we have no idea what happens after we die. No one does. As someone who is a Catholic man, yes, I believe in God. Yes, I do believe that, there is a heaven that I'm actually worried. Sometimes I worry about not getting into myself, but, that's no pun intended, that's my cross to bear. It's those classic tropes that we usually associate, religious imagery with and stuff. And I thought to myself, I know one of the reasons why it's marketed that way, because, death is scary and gross, and, you want to take some comfort knowing that there is something that's good, after, you pass on. And I like to believe there is. So, yeah. At the end of the day, of course, I'm going to stick to the belief that, God is up there, He's up in heaven watching us. I like to believe that I have family members that are hopefully up there. And, hopefully I'll see them when I'm gone too. Wow, this actually got a little bit emotional. How about I end this with the last app question? Basically, it was his love letter to diner culture, which I feel you, man. I do. There really is something about going to anywhere at like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Either you're incredibly drunk or maybe you're feeling kind of lonely or something or whatever. And you just go to one of those 24-hour diners and you get yourself a nice hot meal. I mean, I went to Gettysburg College. We had the Lincoln Diner. Lincoln Diner was awesome. Shots of Lincoln Diner. And shout out to Gettysburg College too. I don't really talk about college much simply because it really wasn't that great of an experience for me. Mostly due to the whole wrestling thing, but that's a story for another day. My point is, like, you know, Lincoln Diner was awesome. Like, it was open 24 hours a day. You get like breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whatever. And it was great. And yes, I myself had done the thing where I went there like 3 o'clock in the morning. And it was pretty rad. Of course, you know, I'm a little too old and a little bit more health conscious to really attempt doing stuff like that. Maybe I don't know. I'd do it again just to see how it is, but I don't know. Maybe it's silly. It's still awesome though. So yeah, this is a great episode of Hot Ones. I learned a lot and made me think a little. And that's what a good episode of Hot Ones really does for me. Like, even if it's a guest, such as for me, yesterday was Rami Youssef, who you don't know much about. If you take an opportunity to pay attention to what's going on, you really do learn stuff. And yes, at the end of the day, it really is a show about having hot wings and dying from the unbearable pain from it. But seriously, try looking past that at some point. You'd be surprised what you can get out of it. This isn't my first rodeo doing that either. I still get surprised at the things I learn. So there you go. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, actually, before I end this video, I just realized I have to binge watch not 1 but 2 shows today. Pray for me. Like, favorite, chat, the subscribe button, follow me on social platforms. YouTube. I am very humble in this video for all of you guys watching. Enjoy for today. It will be a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Friday. And remember, if you guys want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to lend it in. I'll always be back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.